Well, it is an exciting time, unless you are concerned about the tight end position, in which case it may not be as exciting. Um, we've been talking about this basically since we started hosting this show, but it finally came true this week. I believe on either Thursday or Friday, Carson Snead finally flipped to North Carolina. He finally joined his brother Dayton with Bill Belichick. This one does hurt a little bit just because he was an in-state commitment from Donaldson Christian over here in the Nashville area. And I think this is going to have you searching for another tight end in the class. Tight ends are kind of strange because it's like it's kind of like quarterback. You've only got one of them on the field for the most part, unless like we were talking about with Adam, you're going to use them in the 12 personnel. But I don't think this is one you lose nearly as much sleep over just because you've known it was going to happen for a while. Like he was shopping around at other places all summer. I think he was supposed to visit Colorado at one point, but didn't. I know Florida and Ole Miss were two places he visited for a fact. But overall, not a shock that Carson Snead has left the 2026 class.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, like this is something that we've been monitoring for a while. And I mean, it's honestly it's not surprising that he left to go to North Carolina, especially considering that his brother's there. And like, yeah, I guess he'll be getting to play with Bill Belichick and the boys now. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee's like pretty good at tight end right now. I mean, of course, they're going to need to add more recruits, but I'm excited about Kitzelman this season. And I think Ethan Davis can do well too. So, I mean, not like a huge loss, but Tennessee definitely will need to target someone else and with his absence. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate seeing a guy decommit and go to another school, but best of luck to him and his brother and everything. But yeah, not much more really to say about the Snead situation.
So I'm just trying to get a nice look here at the tight end position for Tennessee here in the future. Obviously, we know about the two this year with Ethan Davis, Miles Kitzelman. There's a few other names to look at as well. Desan Brame was a big-time commit in the 2025 class. He flipped from Oregon and I don't know if you would call it a trade in decommitments with Doug Utu, who was committed to Tennessee for a little bit and then flipped over there. But they got Desan Brame out of Kansas, number 4 prospect in that class. Still have Cole Harrison around, the surprise flip, I think, on signing day from 2024, if I'm not mistaken. And then Jack Van Dorselaer, who is another guy that they are very high on over there. In fact, he had a couple touchdowns in the orange and white games. So not a position Tennessee is necessarily hurting in right now, but you would like to see some more commitments here soon at tight end. As a matter of fact, Tennessee actually offered a tight end that's committed to Kentucky, I believe this weekend, in Lincoln Watkins, 3-star guy from, I think it's what they call the thumb region in Michigan because it's shaped like a glove, up in Port Huron, which is like right on the Canadian border. Would be a big get for Tennessee, just knowing now that they don't have a guy at that position for the future.
Yeah, and what's like what is there to say about him? Because I'm not really as familiar with him as much. Does he have like decent size? Like, have you watched any of his film or anything?
To be completely transparent with film, I don't really watch it unless these guys commit.
Yeah, me too.
And as for the size, I don't really know a whole lot about that either. I know I wrote it down somewhere, but I've since forgotten about it. But Tennessee's tried to lure guys away from Kentucky at tight end in the past too. What was the kid's name? Willie Rodriguez, who Tennessee tried to lure away from there a few years back. So, we'll see what Tennessee does to address that situation, if they do anything to address it.